Hey, it's Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
What a pleasure on Zoom and on the radio to talk to Susan Phillips. She is part of St. Augustine Beaches, Ponte Vedra Beaches. Beautiful.
Ponte Vedra, yes.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for helping me out there. Honest to God, not just because we're talking to Susan. My wife and I and family have loved St. Augustine for years and years. Well over 25 years we've visited, if not once a year, twice a year. It is just a beautiful place. So it's good to talk to you, Susan. And how are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well. And I'm so delighted to be chatting with you guys. I mentioned to you earlier, I'm a former Atlanta resident, grew up there, and my family still lives there. My parents are out on the west side of town. And so I always like to get reconnected with my friends in Atlanta.
Well, we appreciate that. You have moved to a slice of heaven there where you are. And we wanted to talk to you, first of all, before we get into the St. Augustine stuff. It's going to be a great place for folks to get away, especially after the social isolation and distancing. But first, we're doing a thing with Save the Children. We're feeding those kids that normally get a breakfast and a lunch, but because school is kaput, some of them are going home hungry. Save the Children raising funds to take care of those kids, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you guys have been generous to give into that. Some trips to St. Augustine. You've been very generous. Why Save the Children?
Well, I think that first of all, you guys have chosen such deserving folks and a good organization and a good way to kind of turn around. We see a lot of negative stories with COVID-19, but you've been able to take this and say, let's try to turn this into something positive. These children are the ones that are impacted that really don't have an ability to stand up for themselves. This was a situation that was put upon them. We've already had challenges with a lot of children that go to school aren't fed anyway, and we have the backpack buddies and projects like that. But this is a way to extend that. And it really warmed our hearts when you approached us. The station approached us and said, hey, we've got this opportunity. Would you be willing to participate? It was an easy yes. I mean, how could you turn that down? And just also seeing how you're sharing this with so many folks in Atlanta, it's the right thing to do. And it's just good for us to be able to step up. And also for our partners here down at Florida's Historic Coast, they were just very responsive as well.
And not only have you guys given into just money-wise, you've also offered up some trips for folks who are giving big in Save the Children. I believe we have like 4 trips for the first 4 folks who donate $1,000. Thank you so much. Talk about what folks can experience down at St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra when they go down there.
Well, I tell you, when they come visit us at Florida's Historic Coast, that's what we call it, but it's St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra, and the beaches. It is an experience like nothing else. First of all, from Atlanta, it's an easy drive. We know that as we get through this COVID-19 situation, folks are going to be ready to come visit, and we're going to offer that safe haven for them. We've got beautiful 42 miles of coastline here that are unparalleled to what else you would find in Florida. So it's a nice place to get away, plenty of outdoor activities for you, plenty of room so that you can do the social distancing, but it's just a beautiful destination on top of that. It's one of God's greatest gifts. When you look at all that we have here, the abundance of amenities and resources and nature and things to do, it's a nice respite for folks in Atlanta.
I'm a little biased, as I mentioned earlier, Susan. A lot of folks say they like the Gulf side of Florida. I always say, I like the east side. It is beautiful. It is cooler. It is enjoyable. They need to check it out. They can go actually to floridashistoriccoast.com to check it out. And there's some bed and breakfast. There's there's condos. There's whatever you need is right there. It is beautiful. The food is fantastic. All right, I got to pick your brain. Your favorite place to eat?
Oh boy, well, there's a lot of them, so we have to qualify this so I don't get in trouble. There are so many great places. First of all, I like places that are on the water. We've got some great restaurants, Caps on the River, which is on the Intracoastal Waterway, one of my favorites. Aunt Kate's is another favorite. Kingfish Grill. They have like the marina there, so you've got people bringing fresh fish and seafood, and they'll cook it up. So those are definitely favorites. But also the Columbia Restaurant, which is downtown in the historic district. Such a lovely Spanish restaurant, great food. It's a great place to take folks to, friends to, when they come to visit. But there are just a myriad of other experiences too. We've got a lot of multi-generation family restaurants where it's only family members working there. They carry down the recipes from their family and serve it up to you at the table and explain to you how they derived it. Plus, our folks here, like in a lot of other cities, but I happen to think we do it better, we utilize our local sourcing of fruits, vegetables, seafood. We've got a bounty of seafood here with our coastline. So that's fresh, it's brought in, and you can't get any better than fresh, right off the boats when the people bring it in and they're cooking it fresh for you.
Now, Susan, it's called the Historic Beaches. What is the history? Tell us, why is it called the Historic Beaches?
Well, do you want a little history lesson? Is that what
Little
you think
history
there?
lesson. Yes, that'd be great.
We actually, I'll kind of sum it up for you. We are, the oldest continuously occupied European settlement in the United States. Okay, so that's something, that's our claim to fame. We are the oldest. And we think that being old is hip because we've got so much culture, so much to share. But our destination was settled by Spanish explorers back in 1565. And we are so culturally diverse. You're not going to find this in some of the other places that you might visit, especially beach destinations. We are, the cultures that we have represented here over the years, over the hundreds and hundreds of years, are Native American, Greek, Minorcan, French, and British. So you have all of those influences that have not only permeated our landscape, and when you look at the Spanish colonial architecture, but our foods and everything that we see and do here. And it's authentic, and that's something else. It's not something that's made up. This is history at its best.
We're talking with Susan Phillips. What a great place to visit. It would be unbelievable to live there. Maybe someday. Where's my wife? But it's beautiful to visit. You need to check it out. It's to go to before we St. Augustine. Maybe this is my favorite part of St. Augustine.
And I'm sorry, Rick, I couldn't understand.
Yeah, Rick, you kind of broke up there. If you could repeat that question.
Yeah. What do most people say? What is the one thing you've heard people say once they've visited and they say, you know what, I love this about St. Augustine? What do they say?
Well, I'll tell you that first of all, they'll say that I didn't realize I could come here and have so many different experiences. I think they are shocked because they think either we have beaches or we have history or other things, but they don't realize all of this that we have. And also to top it off, it's not just our 42 miles of beaches. It's not just our history that we have. We also are a world-class golf destination. I don't know if either of you golf, but certainly we are home of the PGA Tour and we have the Players Championship each year. So you've got that. But in addition, these other experiences that you can have when you check out all of the attractions and entertainment, those things that bring people back again and again for something different. And you even, one of the things that people forget is that we have the Fountain of Youth. I mean, I don't know about you guys are young, but I certainly would like to be a little bit younger. And although I must say, I've gone over there and drank the water a few times, it hasn't done as much as I was hoping. But we have that here. They're just great experiences for couples, for families, for just folks to come enjoy. And it creates great memories.
Now, Susan, we were talking before we started the interview, and you said that the Florida governor is starting slowly opening things back up. Tell us how all that's going to work and how that affects you guys at St. Augustine.
That's a great question, Dan. I think we have been a little bit on pins and needles waiting for the announcement, but fortunately, Governor DeSantis came out yesterday with an announcement. There's going to be a slow, phased, methodical reopening of the state of Florida. It first is going to be in all areas except for southern Florida, but we start reopening on Monday, and the governor's going to keep watching and will expand as he feels comfortable. This is going to be, from what we understand, a three-phased approach. So we are telling our folks to get prepared for folks to start visiting. We know it's still going to be a while. Everyone's wanting to see how everyone reopens and making sure that the safety and security is in place. But again, when your listeners are considering where to come visit once they're ready to travel, we want them to check us out because we're not a big industrialized city or anything, or dense city. We have so much natural space, so many natural wonders and things that they can see and do here, and have plenty of social distancing. And that's going to be, I think, really important for folks moving forward.
Susan, thank you so much for spending time with us, and thank you so much for being a part of what Save the Children is doing. Look forward to seeing you in the future. Hey, you can check it out at St. Augustine Beaches and Ponte Vedra Beaches. It's FloridasHistoricCoast.com. Susan, thank you so much. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is
Thank
Faith
you.
Talk Live.